Hi, my name is Aubrey Ibele, and I'm a keto expert.
Nice. Very nice.
Thanks. How you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
I'm good, good. Getting some work done.
Yeah, me too. So we're gonna get started and we're gonna talk about what got you started in keto and just talk to us more about that.
Okay, so my journey. I was always really fit in high school. I did a lot of sports. I played soccer, I played hockey, ran track, did all sorts of fun stuff. And later in high school, I got way more busy with school because I'm really academically inclined. And so I wasn't playing as many sports. I started working at a job. I actually worked at a coffee shop, which was super fun. But I got free drinks all the time and there were free pastries. And I gained a ton of weight in the end of high school and into college. And I really, I felt like no matter what I did, I couldn't lose the weight. And I was extremely unhappy. And it led me to be depressed. And I started getting high blood pressure at like the age of 20 or 19. And I decided that I had to make a change. And so I started looking into different diets. And I think that's what people do when their knee-jerk reaction is like, okay, I need to get on a diet. And I did that exactly. And I tried gluten-free. I thought I was gluten intolerant for a while, which I'm definitely not. Carbs are just bad for me and everyone. I tried juicing. I tried high protein. I mean, I tried so many different diets that just nothing really stuck with me because they weren't really sustainable. They weren't lifestyle changes. They were short-term diets. And I never had like the willpower to starve myself all the time and commit to a super strict kind of weird diet. So last year, I had a really like life-changing event, and I decided I was really going to start because I had lost a little bit of weight, but I wasn't anywhere near where I wanted to be. And I was working out all the time. I mean, I thought I was doing the right things. So I did a high protein diet for about a month, and it was awful. I was eating like 200 grams of protein a day, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's like so much chicken breast. Chicken breast made me want to puke after that. And then I was introduced to the keto diet. And after doing research, there's actual considerable scientific research, like actual peer-reviewed research on the ketogenic diet. I realized that this was actually something that I could get on board with. It's something that I understood. And it was really gaining traction in the health and fitness community. I mean, there's a lot of professionals now that are toting the ketogenic diet, and for good reason. I mean, it does a lot of amazing things. So what the ketogenic diet is you are eating a high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet. So that's about 20 grams of carbs or less a day. And in terms of, so we call them your macronutrients, and the three macronutrients that you need to keep track of are fat, protein, and carbohydrates. So with the ketogenic diet, you're eating 70 to 75% fat, 20 to 25% protein. These are your daily calories. This is where your daily calories should be coming from. And then 5 to 10% should be coming from carbs. And what this does when you eat a diet like this, you change your metabolism. So it changes the fuel that your body uses to function. So on a standard American diet or a standard Canadian diet, you eat a large amount of carbohydrates. And this puts your body in a state of glycolysis, and it's burning carbohydrates as fuel and breaking them down into glucose. So I'm sure you've heard of like blood glucose and all that kind of stuff. Insulin. So insulin is released in response to carbohydrates. And with the ketogenic diet, you are starving your body of carbohydrates, so you don't have that fuel source anymore. So your body has to change and adapt. So you go into a state of ketosis, where your body is burning your dietary fat and your body fat as fuel, which is why you get a lot of weight loss with the ketogenic diet, because you're burning your own body fat, which is really, really cool. And there's also a ton of other health benefits. I hope I'm not getting too sciencey for you.
No, that's cool.
Okay, good. There's a ton of health benefits. So um, typically people think of like diabetes as chronic and progressive. And that has is tied into like insulin resistance. So your body gets resistant to insulin when you eat too many carbohydrates for a really long time. But the ketogenic diet is actually able to reverse diabetes. So I have a Facebook group that I started because I realized that there was a ton of misinformation out there and people talking about the science of keto, but not really knowing what they were talking about and conveying it the wrong way. And I knew that I had the communication skills in the background and the experience to help people. So I made a group which has a couple thousand people in it now, and it's really awesome. And people in my group are reversing their diabetes and getting off their medication by using the ketogenic diet and things like intermittent fasting, which is so cool. Like I find that so incredibly powerful, and it really keeps me going, doing the things I do from day to day, you know, helping them and providing them with support and providing them with information. So yeah, I mean, doctors are now, it's pretty controversial, the diet is, because when you think of high fat, Americans especially are told that if you eat fat, it's going to make you fat. And that's completely incorrect. If you eat a lot of carbohydrates, if you don't burn those carbohydrates immediately, they get stored. All that energy gets stored as glycogen in fat cells. So people hear high fat and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get high cholesterol and I'm going to have a heart attack and I'm going to get fat. And that's just completely not true. But now doctors are really seeing the scientific evidence is coming out that keto can help with epilepsy and things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is really prevalent now, and weight loss and diabetes. I mean, all of these amazing, amazing things. So I really feel really fortunate to have like kind of got on the bandwagon when I did, because it's really like taking off. And I really think that because it's so scientifically backed and so many people are using it for positive health benefits, you know, people ask me all the time, you know, what about, are you worried about the cyclic nature of like diets and is this going to go out of style? And I'm like, I don't think reversing diabetes is going to go out of style, you know, because people are dying from diabetes. And if this can reverse diabetes and it's used by doctors, I mean, how many people do you know or have heard of that were prescribed the Atkins diet to cure diabetes? I mean, it's just not. Atkins and keto are really similar, but most diets aren't prescribed as a way to cure chronic disease. So I find that really cool.
Yeah. So do you take people on their journey for like weight loss?
Mostly, yeah. So most of the people in my group are concerned with weight loss. There's a lot of people that just want the health benefits. So in addition to reducing insulin resistance, losing weight, you also get more energy and a better sense of focus. So that's something that I experience. You know, kind of that fog you get. I mean, this is a little taste. That fog you get like late in the afternoon. It's caused by your decrease in blood glucose levels, because, you know, kind of carbs are cyclic and they don't stay around for very long. They either get stored or they get used. And with keto, you have a constant source of fuel. So you're always going to have fat on your body, hopefully. And you're eating it all the time too. And so that maintains that level of energy. And ketones, so ketones are a derivative of fat and break down fat into ketones. And they are a more efficient source of energy. So I don't know if you've heard of the molecule called ATP, but ATP is kind of like the energy source of the body. So glucose and ketones, they all get broken down into ATP, which is used to function the basic functions of the cell. And so scientists have shown in studies that ATP produced by ketones can do 28% more work than ATP produced by glucose. So this means they're way more efficient, almost 30% more efficient source of energy, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. Like, and we don't really know why, because an ATP molecule is an ATP molecule is an ATP molecule. Like they should all be the same, but they're not. which is really cool. So sorry, to answer your question, people do it a lot for the health benefits, like increased focus. There's a huge biohacking community. So my group is called the Keto Biohacker Community, because I really wanted to tap into that biohacking realm, which is basically like you're optimizing your nutrition, your workouts, and your lifestyle for optimal performance and mental capabilities and productivity and efficiency. So that includes, changing your diet, intermittent fasting, supplementation, sleep cycles, all that kind of stuff to be the most highest performing optimized organism that you can be. I think it's really, really cool. There's a lot of people, especially in the tech industry in Silicon Valley, that are using the keto diet for enhanced energy. And it's really cool. So a lot of people do it just for the health benefits.
Nice. So when you get all this information, where are you finding the information from? Textbooks, online, professors?
So I have, because I am I'm finishing my master's in biomedical engineering. I have access to, through my university, a whole slew of scientific literature. I also listen to podcasts a lot. There's some biohacking podcasts. One of my favorite is one put on by a company called Human. And that's spelled HVMN, if anyone is interested. They have some really awesome podcasts and information, science-backed information on biohacking and the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting. And so, that's where I get a lot of my information. I also research. There's a ton of resources online that people can look into. Some of them, they don't go as deep into the science as I would like, but I mean, I read that for a living. I read scientific literature for a living, and not everyone can understand it, which is, I totally understand. But there's a ton of awesome resources online.
Did it take a long time to grasp the information?
No, I got it pretty quick. I mean, I studied metabolics. I have a bachelor's in biology, so I understood the metabolics behind it before I even got into it. But for some people, yes, it's very difficult to understand. They're like, how? Because they've been taught something completely different their whole lives. I mean, they're like, how can I lose weight and eat all this fat? I mean, it's really crazy. And then that kind of mental shift that goes on with people, and then they finally realize, and then they try it and they see the results and they feel better. It's really cool, like, process to watch. I mean, I see that all the time with people in my group. So
nice. So let's talk a little bit about social media. Since I know you have a Facebook group, and what has brought you to start a Facebook group or start having some influence on social media?
So I knew that the best way to find and help people that needed help was through social media. I mean, there's a huge base of people. I saw all these people on different groups. So I knew that they needed support and they needed people to convey the information in a way that they understood it. And so I thought the best way was to create a Facebook group. And so one strategy I did to grow my Facebook group was I offered a free course. So I have a free course, a 4-day course that I send out through a chatbot for anyone that wants it when they come into my group. Even if you're not in my group, I mean, I'd send it to you anyways. But that got a lot of people in the group. So I also timed it and launched the group really strategically. So I did it right before New Year's. So I knew that everyone was going to be going through, their New Year's resolutions. And so I made a course. I advertised it on other groups and people jumped on it. I mean, I grew my group from 60 people to 1,000 in 3 days, which is pretty crazy. And it was a lot to take in at first, but it's been a really awesome experience. So I've moved on from my Facebook group. So I'm still very active in my Facebook group, but I'm also trying to grow my influence on my personal Facebook profile. So I have a few followers now, and then also through Instagram, because Instagram is another I can reach another demographic through Instagram. So my current demographic is about 35 to 50-year-old women. My group is 95% women, surprisingly enough. I mean, I don't think it's that surprising, but, and then Instagram is more of a younger crowd, and more of like I get more of a biohacking feel around Instagram. That's kind of where I talk more about biohacking and, food and, workouts and stuff like that. So, yeah, that is how I'm growing my influence. And it's just a great way to get people in my group, get them access to the information that I put out. I mean, I do Facebook Lives all the time. I do weekly meal preps with my group. They're pretty long because I make all my food for a week in my kitchen, but people love them. They love interacting with me. They love getting recipes. They love seeing what I'm doing. I mean, it's really, really fun.
So what advice would you give to someone who's trying to grow a following, who's trying to like, I know a lot of students don't jump on social media that kind of way. So what kind of advice can you give to people who want to jump on social media, but for the visibility to spread a message? Maybe they're good at like literature and they know a lot about books. So what advice would you give around people who want to get started with social media?
I would say you need to identify who your target audience is, who wants your information, who is also passionate about what you're doing, and you need to find something that they need. You need to meet a need. So my need was people wanted support and they wanted information that they could understand. So create something for free to give them, and then they will literally come to you. I mean, that's what happened to me. That's how I was able to grow my group. They wanted what I had. I was willing to make it and give it to them. And that's really, really what it was. So you need to provide value, but it can't just be anything. It has to be something that they need, that they've said they needed, that they know they need, and so not just what they need, but what they want. So it has to be like, sometimes your customers don't always know what they need. They know what they want. So give them what they want and then give them what they need later, So for literature, I don't know. I've never actually thought about that. Just as an example, as kind of a thought experiment. I think it would really depend on, what they were doing. I have no idea.
I just said it like that, just like a random topic.
Right. No, but maybe people want like book synopses, or, they want to learn how to read faster or something like that. I mean, finding and doing the customer research, because I was in these keto groups. I interacted with people. I found out what they needed. And that was how I was able to craft my free value product.
So you became curious of what was going on social media to learn more about it, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Did you have like any mentors that helped you along the way?
Oh yeah, tons actually. So one of my really good friends, her name is Mackenzie Lieberman. I don't know if you're in her group at all.
I don't think so.
Marketing, what?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, she does marketing with messenger bots, and she's been dubbed the chatbot queen. And I knew her before she was famous. So I've known her for probably, 3 or 4 years. And she's helped me immensely along the way. So she was the first person to push me to get into social media marketing and stuff like that. And so she got me into Dan Henry's Facebook course, Facebook as for Entrepreneurs. And then she got me into Arnie's Facebook groups for entrepreneurs. And that's where I really globbed on and kind of took off with that information. And so, yeah, she really pushed me. And I mean, I always, when something crazy happens, I always call her and be like, oh my God, listen to this. It's so awesome. And she's always there to talk me through it. And yeah, so if you guys don't know what chatbots are, I use them in my group. And you should learn about them, and you should do it through Mackenzie's, her group called Marketing with Messenger Bots. It's really amazing. She's so knowledgeable, super helpful. She's given presentations at tons of different conferences about messenger bots. And yeah, I mean, they've really my group wouldn't be the same if I didn't have a messenger bot attached with it. So you can't attach a messenger bot to your Facebook group. It has to be through like a business page, but you can get people in your group to subscribe to the bot.
Okay. And how tech savvy do you have to be to make a bot?
So, I mean, you have to know how to navigate a computer, I would say. But they have, so I know she has tons of information on her group, but so I use a service called ManyChat. There's other ones, but they have tons of tutorial videos, really, really, really helpful tutorial videos. I mean, there's a ton of different features which people can get really wrapped up in. I know sometimes that when I'm on there, it can be a little confusing, but as long as you just get the hang of it and work through it, I mean, the click-through rates of chatbots are so much better than email. Like I've had click-through rates of like 90% with chatbots, and with email marketing campaigns, they're usually like 30 or 40.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, really transformative for me. I mean, I send, reminders out when I'm going to do a live, or, alert them to any products I have, or ask them their input, or do customer research, or anything like that. I mean, it's really been awesome.
Would you disregard email marketing, or is it just another platform to spread a message? It's
another platform. So I don't do email marketing. I probably should. I don't really have time at the moment. But I might do that in the future. I know it's just another touch point, really. I don't think you should disregard any form of marketing that works. I mean, if you find a way to do email marketing that gets you results, go for it. Yeah. But I just like chatbots. They're so much more interesting to me, and I get almost immediate results with people. So that's why I like him.
But I mean, the copy for chatbots has to be short, right?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, kind of, yeah. So shorter than email, I get that, but you can take them through sequences. So what's cool about chatbots is you're like, hey, how are you doing today? And then you have a button that says, I'm doing good, or I hate life right now. And then they click the button. And then the next one, maybe they say, I'm having a great day. You're like, awesome, buy my product. Or you keep going. You basically have a conversation with them, and you can lead them through the conversation. It's super interactive. You can add GIFs, you can add pictures. ManyChat just added a new feature that you can now take payments through the chatbot, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
So I mean, they're doing some really, really cool stuff. Unfortunately, there's a pause right now on creating new chatbots because of the Cambridge Analytica thing that happened. So they're like reevaluating their terms of service or whatever, and they want to make sure that things like chatbots, because they can be misused. So there's a stipulation that if someone hasn't interacted with your chatbot in the last 24 hours, you can't send them a promotional post or a promotional broadcast. So like, say Susie hasn't interacted with my chatbot in a week, I can't be like, hey, here's a message, buy my product. It's against the rules. Some people probably don't abide by that, or send too many broadcasts or something like that. But so they're reevaluating them right now. Current chatbots that are linked to Facebook pages are totally fine. They're fully functional, but adding new chatbots to a Facebook page has been paused.
Interesting. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time for the interview. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.